9 Powerful Things to Tell Yourself Every Day for a Life Transformation. Audiobook written and published by the Book of Successful Person. Imagine I'm sitting in my cozy, sunlit study. A half-empty mug of coffee sits beside my laptop, and the gentle hum of a nearby fan fills the air. The window overlooks a small garden bursting with late summer flowers. Alright, let's talk, you and me, about something that's been on my mind a lot lately: taking control. It's something I've struggled with, something I've wrestled with, something I'm still working on every single day. You know that feeling, right? Like your life is just happening to you. Like you're a passenger in your own story, and not really the author. Well, I've been there. More times than I care to admit. And it all boils down to this: what you tell yourself in those quiet, sometimes deafening moments inside your head. The things you repeat, over and over, they shape your reality. They can either lift you up and propel you forward, or they can be like anchors, dragging you down into a sea of self-doubt. Think about it for a second. How would your life feel if you woke up every day feeling confident, motivated, and ready to tackle whatever the universe threw your way? How would that change things? I'm here today to share a set of 9 things you can tell yourself that have transformed my life, that have pulled me out of some pretty dark places, and that I believe can do the same for you. They're not just fluffy, feel-good affirmations. They're powerful statements that, when truly believed and backed with action, can create lasting, meaningful change. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's dive into these game changers. By the end of this, I promise you'll walk away with a renewed sense of purpose and clarity. It's your time to rewrite your story, to take ownership of your life. Are you ready? Let's do this. Number 1, I am the best. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, "Jim, that sounds a little arrogant," hear me out. This isn't about thinking you're better than everyone else. It's about believing in the best version of you. The person who shows up, who puts in the effort, who keeps going despite the inevitable setbacks. I'm talking about the version of you that's strong, resilient, and capable of anything. Let's be honest, how many of us spend our days doubting ourselves? I know I used to. Second-guessing every decision, shrinking into the background, waiting for someone else to give me permission to shine. But you know what? That's not how life works. Nobody is going to hand you confidence on a silver platter. You have to create it yourself. You have to claim it. And it starts with this simple, but profoundly powerful statement. I remember a time when I was the furthest thing from the best. Broke, directionless, and completely lost. It was a dark time, a time when just getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain. I was scraping by, barely making ends meet, and self-doubt was my constant companion. But then, I sat down with my mentor, Earl, and he said something that completely shifted everything. He said, "Jim, if you want to change your life, you have to change how you see yourself." It was like a light bulb went off. From that moment, every morning I looked in the mirror and said, "I am the best." It felt strange at first, almost like I was lying to myself. But I kept saying it, day after day, week after week, and something incredible started to happen. My posture straightened. My energy shifted. I started making different choices not because I had to, but because I had become the kind of person who expected more from himself. See, when you believe you're the best, you start acting like the best. And when you act like the best, the world responds. Opportunities open up, and people start treating you differently. It's not magic, but it's powerful stuff. You begin setting a new standard for yourself, and then you rise to meet it. There will be days when that self-doubt creeps back in, but that's when you double down. You reaffirm your belief in yourself, and you back it up with action. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and truly believed in yourself without hesitation? If it's been too long, today is the day you start. This isn't about being perfect, it's about owning your greatness. It's about setting a new standard. So stand tall, look yourself in the eye, and say it, "I am the best." Say it with conviction, say it until you believe it. Number 2, I can do anything. One of the most liberating things I've ever learned is that you can do anything. I'm not just throwing out platitudes here, I mean it. The moment you genuinely start believing that you can achieve anything is when your whole life starts to shift. You start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles, you start focusing on solutions instead of problems. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, that's easy for you to say, Jim. You don't know my limitations, my challenges, my circumstances. And you're right, I don't know your specific situation. But I do know that those limitations, those challenges, those reasons why not, they're often self-imposed. Most of the time the only chains holding you back are the ones you've put on yourself. We talk ourselves out of opportunities before we even try. We tell ourselves stories about why we're not good enough, talented enough, or experienced enough. These are just that, stories. And stories can be rewritten. I used to be that farm boy from Idaho, no money, no connections, no college degree, just a kid trying to figure it out. I had more than my share of doubts and wondered if I could ever make something of myself. Then my mentor, Earl, said to me, Jim, you can do anything, if you just decide to. It wasn't some magical phrase, but it was the truth. And here's the kicker. It takes a decision, a firm no turning back, burn the ships kind of decision. The kind of decision where you say, that's it. No more playing small. No more doubting myself. No more excuses. Once you make that decision, your mind shifts, your actions change. You stop hesitating, and you start doing. You start finding ways instead of finding reasons why it won't work. People who succeed are not the ones who were handed everything, they're the ones who decided they were going to figure it out. They're the ones who kept pushing, kept learning, kept growing even when it was hard and even when no one believed in them. And they succeeded because they told themselves, I can do this. I don't want you to just take my word for it. Test it out. Pick something you've been putting off, something you've been afraid to go after. Say, I can do this, and then act like it's already true. The more you act like you can, the more you'll prove to yourself that you can. Yes, there will be challenges, yes, there will be setbacks, but those are just moments to dig in deeper and remind yourself, I didn't come this far to stop now. Because the most successful people in the world aren't the smartest or luckiest, they are the ones who never gave up. And that can be you. So from today, change your mindset. Stop telling yourself why you can't, and start focusing on why you can. Tell yourself every day, write it down, put it on your wall if you have to, but don't forget, you can do anything. Number 3, my future is bright. I'm a big believer in the power of a positive outlook on the future. When you believe your future is bright, you're not just being optimistic, you're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. It doesn't mean you ignore challenges, it means you approach them with the confidence that you're capable of overcoming them, that better days are on the horizon. I know that can be tough, especially if you've experienced setbacks. Maybe things haven't gone as planned, and it's hard to see the light. I get it, I've been there, staring into the abyss of uncertainty and doubt. But one of the things that turned my life around was realizing that the way you see your future determines the way you live your present. If you believe tomorrow can be better, you'll start acting in a way that makes it happen. But if you believe that your past dictates your future, then you'll remain stuck in that rut. Your past does not define you. Your mistakes do not define you. Where you are today is just a chapter, not the whole book. There are so many chapters to come, and you get to decide how they're written. My own experience comes to mind. There I was, broke and in despair at 25. If you told me my future was bright at that point, I would have laughed out loud. I was so focused on everything that was wrong, everything that had failed. Then, Earl told me that where you are right now doesn't matter, it's where you're going that counts. That was a turning point. I realized my future wasn't set in stone, it was something I could create. And that's the same for you. No matter your situation, your future is in your hands. But it starts with a decision to believe that better days are ahead. This isn't wishful thinking, it's about putting in the work every day. Waking up and taking steps, big or small, toward the future you want. Maybe it's learning a new skill, taking a risk, letting go of old habits. Whatever it is, the important thing is that you do something. Let me be honest, it won't always be a smooth ride. There will be days when it feels like nothing's changing. When you want to give up. But I've learned that progress isn't always obvious. Just like planting a seed, you don't see it sprout overnight, but it doesn't mean it's not growing. You have to keep going, keep pushing, and trust that each effort is building the future you want. So, what do you see? Do you see a bright future, full of possibilities? Or do you see one that's uncertain, out of your control? Because your vision shapes your reality. Your mind is powerful. I want you to start seeing an amazing future. I want you to wake up every morning and say, something good is coming. My best days are ahead. And then I want you to take action to back it up. Because when you believe in a bright future, you start making the choices that lead you there. Number 4, I am getting better each day. Think about that for a second. You are getting better each day. Even if you don't feel it, even if you don't see it, even if it feels like progress is glacially slow, it's happening. It's like a muscle. You might not notice the subtle changes each time you work out, but over time, the muscle strengthens and you can lift heavier weights, run faster, or do more reps. The same is true for personal growth. If you keep showing up, you keep going, you'll one day realize how far you've come. The problem is that most people don't give themselves enough credit. They focus on what's wrong instead of what's right. They look at how far they still have to go instead of how far they've already come. That kind of thinking is dangerous because the way you see yourself shapes everything. I want you to change that. I want you to wake up every day and say, I am getting better each day. Say it out loud, mean it, believe it. The more you say it, the more you'll see proof of it in your life. I know that not every day feels like a leap forward. Some days you feel stuck, some days you might feel like you're sliding backward. Progress isn't always linear, it's more like a dance. Sometimes you're leading, sometimes you're following. Sometimes you take one step forward, and 2 steps back, but the key is to keep moving. Just like a tree, it takes time to grow strong roots, and that strong foundation will allow you to reach great heights. Too many people give up right before they see the results. They think, I've been trying and nothing's happening, and they quit. But what if the breakthrough is right around the corner? You'll never know unless you keep pushing forward. Yes, there will be days when you feel like nothing's working. It's part of the journey, what makes growth so powerful. It's not supposed to be comfortable. If it were, everyone would do it. But, the fact that you're here, listening to this, tells me you're willing to put in the work. What does it actually mean to get better each day? It doesn't mean you suddenly wake up one day a completely different person. That's a fairy tale. Real change happens in small decisions, the tiny habits, in the moments when no one is watching. It's choosing to get up early instead of hitting the snooze button, reading 10 pages of a book instead of scrolling through your phone, pushing yourself a little harder at the gym, staying disciplined even when no one would know if you slacked off. That's what getting better looks like. And those choices compound. One better day leads to another, and before you know it, you've transformed your life. And let's be clear, the goal isn't perfection. You're going to make mistakes, have bad days, slip up, but it's part of the process. When you mess up, learn from it. When you fall, get back up. When you feel like quitting, remind yourself why you started in the first place. Every challenge you overcome makes you stronger, every failure makes you wiser, and every step forward, no matter how small, proves you're growing. Stop measuring yourself against perfection and start measuring yourself against who you were yesterday. If you're even 1% better today than yesterday, that's progress. Keep that up, keep improving just a little bit each day, and you will be amazed where you end up. Make a promise to yourself. A promise you will keep showing up. A promise that every day, no matter what, you will take at least one step forward. Because your future depends on it. Your dreams depend on it. And most of all, you deserve it. Number 5, I will work hard. Hard work works. Always has, always will. If you're willing to put in the effort, push through when others quit, and stay committed even when no one is watching, that's when success finds you. That's when you build something that lasts, and separate yourself from the rest. Most people are looking for shortcuts, for an easy way out, but there's no substitute for hard work. Every great achievement, every incredible success story, it all started with someone willing to put in the work. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not being born into the right circumstances, it's the work you're willing to do when no one's watching. It's what you do after the excitement wears off, when you don't feel like working, but you do it anyway. I saw that firsthand. I was 25 and had nothing, lots of excuses, and a lot of dreams, but no results because I wasn't working hard. I was hoping, wishing, and complaining, but not putting in the effort. That changed when Earl told me that if I wanted more, I had to become more. He made it crystal clear that nothing changes until you change and nothing improves until you improve. That was a hard lesson to hear, but once I accepted that, I stopped waiting for things to happen and started making them happen. I worked harder than ever before. I read books, learned new skills, stayed late, and showed up early, and slowly but surely, my life began to change. It's the same story for every successful person I've ever looked up to, athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, and artists. They all outworked everyone else. They showed up when they didn't feel like it, they kept going when it got tough. They didn't rely on motivation, they relied on discipline. Because motivation fades, and you won't always feel like putting in the extra effort. But discipline is what keeps you moving forward when motivation runs out. It's what gets you up in the morning when the bed feels too comfortable. It's what makes you take one more step when your mind tells you to quit. Now, let me be real with you, hard work isn't always fun. Some days you'll feel exhausted, and you'll want to quit. And that's when most people quit, but that's not who you are. You didn't come this far to stop when it got tough. You know what's waiting for you on the other side, a life that's worth it, a future better than anything you could imagine right now. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room, you just have to be willing to work. So, what are you willing to work for? What are you willing to sacrifice for? Because no one is going to hand you your dreams. You have to earn them. You have to fight for them. You have to put in the work, day after day, no matter how hard it gets. You must commit yourself, and that commitment will make all the difference in the end. Number 6, no excuses. Excuses don't get results. They never have, and they never will. Sure, they might make you feel better in the short term, but they won't move you forward. They won't pay your bills, make you successful, or build your future. The only thing that will is action. Too many people spend their lives coming up with reasons why they can't instead of figuring out how they can. They tell themselves they don't have enough time, money, or the right connections, or they weren't born into the right circumstances. The people who succeed face the same challenges, the difference is, they found a way instead of an excuse. I know what you're probably thinking, Jim, you don't understand my situation. It's different. And maybe it is. But excuses don't care about your circumstances. The truth is that you either find a way, or you stay where you are. Life will always give you reasons to quit. It'll always give you reasons to feel sorry for yourself. It'll always give you a way out. If you take it, it becomes a habit, and that habit will rob you of everything you're capable of becoming. I'm not trying to be harsh. I know what you're capable of, but you have to believe it, too. You have to stop looking for a way out and start looking for a way forward. Take Arthur Borman for example, a veteran injured in service told by doctors he would never walk unassisted again. He made excuses for years, but one day, he decided to stop letting his circumstances define him. He started working, trying, and failing, but he never stopped. And you know what happened? He got better. He started walking again, running again, living again. If a man who was told he'd never walk again could find a way, what's stopping you? Take responsibility for your life, your actions, and your future. Stop blaming your past, waiting for someone to save you, or hoping things will magically change. Excuses are easy, action is hard, but action is the only thing that will change your life. Want to be successful? Work for it. Want to be in great shape? Train for it. Want to build wealth? Study, learn, and take action. The moment you stop making excuses, you take your power back. As long as you're making excuses, you're giving your power away, saying, I can't because of this or that. But when you say, I will find a way, you're in control and unstoppable. People ask me all the time, Jim, what's the secret to success? And I tell them, there is no secret. Stop making excuses and start doing the work. Day in and day out, no matter how hard it gets. Eventually, it pays off. You are capable of more than you imagine. Greatness doesn't come from excuses, it comes from action. It comes from pushing through when others quit. It comes from refusing to settle for less than what you deserve. So start today. Number 7, I was born to do great things. You were born to do great things, not average, mediocre, or just getting by things, great things. I don't know what that looks like for you. Maybe it's building a business, becoming an incredible leader, being the best parent, athlete, artist, or the best version of yourself, but you were meant for it. Most people go through life settling for less than they're capable of. They let their fears, doubts, and past failures convince them they're not meant for something bigger. They say, I'm just not that special, I don't have what it takes. But who told you that? Because that thought didn't come from you. Maybe someone said it to you as a kid, or a failure made you feel not good enough. Maybe you just got comfortable, but it's a lie. You were born with potential, ability, talent, and the power to do something that no one else can do exactly like you. But that power only works if you use it and believe in it. The world is not going to hand you a great life. You have to go out and take it. You have to step up, take responsibility, and decide to make something of yourself no matter what stands in your way. And yes, you will fail. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of success. Every great person has failed multiple times. The difference is that they didn't let failure define them, and that's what you must do, too. They see failure as a lesson, a stepping stone, a test of how badly they want it. Take Michael Jordan, a basketball player who didn't make the varsity team in high school. He didn't quit, he worked harder, trained when no one was watching, and he eventually became the greatest to ever play the game. If he had believed the lie that he wasn't meant for greatness, he never would have achieved it. The people who do great things don't listen to doubts, don't let failure stop them, they keep going. You have to remind yourself every day, I was born to do great things. Because if you don't believe it, no one else will. The way you talk to yourself matters. If you keep doubting yourself, eventually, you'll start acting like it, and you will settle for less, and that's not why you are here. You have everything inside you to make it happen, but it's up to you to use it. You have to put in the work, get up when you don't feel like it, and push through the struggles, setbacks, and doubts. The world needs you to step up and believe in your own greatness, not in an arrogant or selfish way, but in a way that says, I have something valuable to give. When you live at your highest level, when you push yourself to be the best version of yourself, you inspire others to do the same. Stop playing small, stop doubting yourself, stop waiting for the perfect moment, because it will never come. The only moment you have is right now, and you have a choice to keep making excuses or make the decision to step up and go after what you really want. I promise you, you were born for great things, and it's up to you to go out and claim them. Number 8, people's opinions don't affect me. People's opinions don't determine your destiny. They don't decide what you can or can't do, define your worth, or your future. Too many people are trapped by the fear of what others think. They hold back, hesitate, and let someone else's words and criticisms keep them from chasing their dreams. But, who gave them that power? Nobody. People will always have something to say, no matter what you do. Try something new and they'll say you're crazy. Work hard, they'll say you're wasting your time. Take a risk, they'll say it'll never work, and if you succeed they'll say you got lucky. If you're waiting for the world to cheer you on and give you permission to go after your dreams, you'll be waiting forever. Constructive criticism is valuable, but if someone is just tearing you down, ignore them. It's about their own fear of failure, their own regrets, and the belief they can't do it, so they don't want you to either. Think about successful leaders, innovators, athletes, and entrepreneurs. Every single one of them had people who doubted them, laughed at them, and told them they weren't good enough. But did they let it stop them? No. If they had, they wouldn't be where they are today. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job because they said she wasn't fit for TV, and Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. And it's not just famous people. Maybe someone told you you're not smart enough, made fun of your dreams, or told you you'd never make it. Why believe someone who doesn't see your full potential? The people who criticize you aren't the ones who have to live with the consequences of you not trying. You will. They won't wake up every morning and regret you not going after your dreams. You will. So, why let their opinions control your life? People are going to judge you no matter what you do, so you might as well do what makes you happy, live life on your own terms, and go after what you want. The irony is that most people are too busy worrying about themselves to spend much time thinking about you. So, while you're holding back, they've already moved on. Decide that your life is yours. That your dreams, goals, and ambitions matter. That you don't need validation from anyone to go after what you want, and that the only approval you need is your own. You have one life, one chance to make it count. At the end of it, you won't care about what some random person thought about you. You will care about whether or not you lived, gave it everything you had, and became the person you were meant to be. Stop giving their words power over you, and focus on what you believe. Make sure that you push yourself forward, not keep you stuck. Tell yourself that you are capable, worthy, and that you can do it. Because you can, but only if you stop worrying about what everyone else thinks and start focusing on what you believe. Number 9, life is precious. When was the last time you stopped and really thought about how precious life is? Not just in a general sense, but really felt it. Most people go through life like they've got all the time in the world, wasting days, weeks, and years, always thinking they'll have more time later. But life is happening right now. Not someday, not when everything is perfect, not when you feel ready. And the sooner you treat it like the gift it is, the sooner you start truly living. The problem isn't that life is too short, it's that too many people wait too long to start living it. They put things off, saying, I'll be happy when I get that promotion, take that trip when I have more money, start my dream when the timing is better. They don't realize that time is never guaranteed. Every moment you waste waiting is a moment you'll never get back. How many people do you know who have said, I wish I had done that sooner? It's a common regret, looking back and realizing you spent too much time hesitating, worrying, and living for other people instead of yourself. By the time you realize it, you can't get that time back. So, don't wait. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because it doesn't exist. Don't wait for someone to give you permission, because no one is coming to do that. Don't wait until you feel fearless, because fear will always be there. Start now. Take life into your own hands, make the most of it while you can. Life is unpredictable. I don't say that to scare you, but to wake you up. So you stop putting things off, wasting time on things that don't matter, on negativity, grudges, and worrying about things you can't control. When your time comes, you won't care about those little things. You'll care about whether or not you truly lived, about the moments that made you feel alive, the people you loved, and the things you dared to do. What are you waiting for? If there's something you've been putting off, start it today. If there's someone you love, tell them today. If there's something you want to change about your life, change it today. Today is all you have. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow isn't promised. But right now, you have a chance. You have the power to decide what to do with the time you've been given. When you treat life like it's precious, everything changes. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter, letting fear control you, and you start making the most of the time you have. And that's when life becomes truly incredible. So don't wait. Live fully, love deeply, take the risks, chase your dreams, and make the most of every single moment. Because one day, when you look back on your life, you want to be able to say, I truly lived.